Whether it's in our camper van, Miss Vanjie, or via rental car through the Balkans, you guys keep asking how we plan our trips. So I've pulled together a few travel tips that will be helpful no matter what kind of trip you're planning. Travel inspo can come from all kinds of different places. It could be your friend's Instagram or TikTok travel videos. Once you're in full planning mode, it could be Kentucky or Intrepid Tours or G Adventures or listicles or even a travel guidebook from the library. There's no such thing as plagiarism when it comes to planning a trip. So look across those different sources to get a sense of what some of the most popular tourist destinations are. In fact, if you really want to shortcut this whole process, just copy an existing itinerary from one of those guidebooks or those group tour operators that I talked about earlier. So step one is pinning these locations, whether they're specific cities or tourist sites. If they come up often in your search or are places you'd like to visit, pin them. Speaking of which, plan your trip on Google Maps. You're going to use Google Maps once you get there, so you may as well use Google Maps to plan your trip as well. So you're going to want to pin locations using the Save Location feature. Let me show you. It's as simple as this. Whether you're on your phone or on your computer, just go to the save icon and click on that. Create a new list if you want, or just save it to want to go. You can even add a note in or view everything that's on that list. If you're planning a trip to Europe, I really recommend you look up the rail map on Wikipedia. And note, sections in green are sections that haven't yet been built. So that can mean even if two cities look close together, it could be a long drive or a really long rail trip between them. So check out different modes of travel. If you're in Europe, going to places on that train network, train is going to be your best way to get around. And check how long the drive will take. If you're a North American used to 100 kilometers taking an hour or less to travel, in other countries that don't have the same kind of highway network, it could take longer than you think. You'll also need to think about how you're going to get from where you are right now to where you're starting and ending your itinerary. This brings us to section 4. A word about planning flights. This is a brief introduction to the entire universe that is flight hacking, and I can't cover everything in just this video, but let me give you a couple key tips. If you're not already using Google Flights, you're missing out. I swear this video is not sponsored by Google, although if they'll give me money, I will take it. You can come to the Explore tab, type in your starting city, and type in something like Europe to find cheap flights within whatever time frame you're looking. You can use the filters to search for things like non-stop flights. Non-stop flights are so much nicer and emit less carbon too. Once you have specific destinations or dates in mind, I recommend switching over to the Flights tab. Did you know that you can put multiple airports in the origin and destination fields? Here I'm searching for flights from Toronto, Detroit, or Buffalo to Valencia, Barcelona, or Madrid. Another tool in your flight planning arsenal is flightconnections.com. Here you can type in an origin or destination airport and see all the direct flights. You can even see all the airlines that fly that route and which days of the week they fly it. Round-trip flights are sometimes cheaper than booking 2 one-way flights, so keep that in mind. A common situation. Let's say you're a North American trying to go to a specific city in Europe, but the flights to that city are kind of expensive. You'll find that the transatlantic flight to the specific city that you're trying to go to might be expensive. But there could be a transatlantic flight to a hub city like Lisbon or Paris or London or Frankfurt that's a little bit cheaper. From there, you can book on a low-cost European carrier to get to the specific destination you're trying to go to. Let me give you an example. When we did our trip to the Balkans, we were looking to start and end our itinerary in Albania. But flights from Toronto, Canada to Albania were really expensive. However, we found a really cheap deal on round-trip flights to Brussels via Aer Lingus. We only paid $460 a person round-trip for those flights. Then, like I said, once you're in Europe, there's lots of low-cost carriers with flights available. We flew with TUI from Brussels to Albania. But be warned, if you miss your flight home because some low-cost European airline canceled your flight, that big transatlantic carrier will not have any pity for you. You need to leave yourself space so that if your flight to the hub airport gets canceled or delayed, you can still get home. I recommend giving yourself 1 to 3 days in that hub city to explore and enjoy that city before you fly back home. One last tip, if you can be flexible about your dates or travel in the off season, you can often get better prices on flights. There's lots of Facebook groups and websites that track flight deals as well. If you're in Toronto like us, I recommend YYZ Deals. Okay, Maps is great, but it can't keep track of decisions and bookings and specific dates. That's why I recommend you document your decisions in a Google Doc. Google Docs make it easy to collaborate, and you can download them for offline use, again, in case you don't have internet in the place you're going to. We usually like to start with a calendar view. I show the city that we're starting in each day and the city we're ending in. So below the calendar view, we have a chart for each day with any relevant information for that day, anything we've booked or still need to book, and a general list of activities for what we want to do that day. So those are my top 5 travel tips, but what did I miss? Comment your travel tips below. I'd love to hear them. Of course, things don't always go to plan. Check out our videos from our recent trip to Italy and the Balkans to see if our plans worked out. Thanks for watching.